Hi everyone, my name is Gia. Thank you so much for watching. Today you're going to want to stay till the very end because there is so much I have to let you know. You might learn something new. Just as a disclaimer, if you're against surgery, if you're trolling, this is a trigger magnet, so you're not going to want to watch this. But also to let you know, YouTube has a new policy where they automatically delete like hate comments, and I noticed I've been getting a lot of hate comments from people who, if they just sat and watched through my videos, they would understand like, oh, I see where she's coming from. To reiterate, I got surgery because first off, I had a baby, and your body changes forever for the half of the population who understands, and I do love my body. It took me years and years of rumination to move forward with this step. Here is a week-by-week update. I took a couple weeks off because one, I had complications. I had 2 different complications, and then I also had a conference that I had to leave for a week. If you notice something today, I am sitting, and I'm so excited. It's still a little uncomfortable. I'll get into that. Okay, so just as part of the disclaimer, I'm gonna clarify first off why I got my boobs done and then why I got my butt done. I got my boobs done because I had a baby. There was like nothing you can do about that. There's no workout you can do for getting your boobs fixed back to the way they were. My body metabolized the milk. They ended up growing so fast, and they grew like one nipple was up here and one nipple was down here essentially. And when I wore a shirt without a bra, it looked crazy. I couldn't wear a sweater, I couldn't wear a dress without wearing a proper bra, and without just like being free at home to look at myself in the mirror. It was very mentally debilitating. Like, my brain just shut down. I wanted to protect myself from hating myself, and I had to act a certain way. I had to bend over a certain way. I had to stand in pictures a certain way. I changed my whole lifestyle basically just because my boobs were a certain way. I never felt good in a dress. About 4 years now, I had my boobs done and with saline, and I have the story up here. And for those of you who can relate, in case your story is similar to this, the reason that I got my butt implants done, and the reason why I'm actually doing these videos, is because first off, I couldn't find anybody who was petite who had their butt implants done and could share their journey and was a step-by-step explanation of what goes down. And I want to know everything that happens so that I know what to expect. I know all the complications. I know the possible scenarios that I have to deal with. Hopefully, like, fingers crossed that you don't have to deal with any complications, but this is for those of you who are looking into surgery, thinking about it. The reason I got my butt done was because I would work out with my girlfriends. When I used to live in an apartment complex, we had a gym, and my girlfriends would come over and we'd have workout parties where we turn up the music, we all work out together, and we would measure ourselves only to find out everybody else's butt would grow, or like one butt cheek would grow, and we would laugh about it. But my butt seemed to only grow like half an inch every single time. So I just can't gain weight in my butt the right way or gain muscle I would like to, and it's just genetics. There's nothing I could do about it aside from butt implants, and I'm 100 pounds, so getting a BBL was out of the picture. I did all the diets, all the protein shakes. I tried everything and my butt just doesn't grow that way. I don't gain weight that way. Actually, I'm gonna start with week 3 and then work my way to week 6. The 3rd week, I got my drains removed, which is why I'm sitting, which is why I'm comfortable. And it was the very first time I actually got to use the BBL pillow, because I had drains for 3 weeks with Dr. Hughes. He's an amazing doctor. He's so sweet, funny, and kind. And he's a wonderful, very informed person. Obviously, he's very experienced. But it felt so weird when they removed the drains, because it literally felt like a towel was being pulled from in between my muscle and implant. And it sounds gnarly. It sounds exactly the way it feels. It was really uncomfortable. It wasn't like a pain like when you get stabbed by a needle. Stabbed by a needle is like a pinch and it kind of hurts, where this was like, whew, like it's uncomfortable, but it's really quick. The hole was like, I'm not gonna post the picture because it made me queasy and I don't want to make other people queasy. And I don't get queasy very easily, but I just don't like seeing where fluids come out of. And I mean like wounds. I can see blood in a bag, but I can't see it coming out of someone. So there were holes the size of pencil. I don't have a pencil, I have like a lip balm. The holes were the size of pencils, and I wrapped them and I cleaned them with antiseptic spray. It felt sore. It felt like I did a workout and I was kind of like limping around, walking around really slowly, but I felt free. Because being with drains, the wound was constantly healing around the drain, which hurt so bad. The drains were just keeping the wound open, and they would heal and then the scab would fall off. The wound would heal and then the scab would fall off. And the drains were moving around. When you move around, especially when you want to use the bathroom, you have to pull your underpants down, and it it hurts anytime you move, or getting up from bed was the worst because it felt like a dry cut, like a dry scab was being manipulated. So I was free. It was odd, but I was shaky all day because it was a little traumatizing. Not traumatizing in the sense that mentally, but it was just like physically, like you're not supposed to do that to your body. You're not supposed to have surgery. So I understand that. Trust me, I know. I'm very self-aware, and I was still instructed to take it easy. So don't dance around, don't jump around, don't do anything crazy. On that same night, I got an infection, all the symptoms, and I knew immediately. I felt really cold at night, that same night. A few days right before I hit the 3-week mark was when I could start lying on my side, and that was with drains. Now I don't have any drains, which I'm very happy about because I can actually move, and putting on underwear, taking off underwear is now easy, where it would hurt every single time, and I'm gonna get into why. I had my drains for 3 weeks in, and I sent an email with an Excel sheet that had all my fluid collection to show the doctor these are the volumes, right and left cheek, and total volume for the day, and to make it everything easy and organized for them. I just want to be like a really easy patient because I used to work in a plastic surgery center where there were patients who were very difficult. So I want to make their life easier, which makes them treat me better, and they can focus on treating me better. During the whole time, the 3 weeks that I had the drains, my right leg was hurting, and I realized why. It hurt so much to the point that I was limping around just because of it, and I was walking like 10 minutes for a few feet just to get around the house. And the reason why is because the scab was healing around it. It was forming, and the skin was healing. However, since the drains are there, since there's a hole punctured into your skin, it doesn't fully heal. So the scab would fall off, and then the scab would rebuild again. So it would hurt, and you do ever have the feeling of a really dry scab, and you touch it and it hurts, or you move it and you're like, ow? Well, that's exactly what it was. Until the very last day, right before I was getting the drains, it switched. So the right leg for a whole day was feeling great, and I was feeling back to somewhat normal, I guess, with drains, with less pain. And then what happened was the left cheek, the left drain, was forming a scab, and I was walking back to like half a mile an hour again. So painful. So going to get my drains done, surgical tech came in, Natalie, she's awesome. She said it's uncomfortable, and I was really nervous because I saw one video where a woman gets the drains pulled out and she just whimpers. But what it feels like, is first she had to remove the scabs, and the left scab, like the right scab was quick. It was just like less than a minute. She unstitched they're like little stitches, little threads. She unstitched it and then pulled it out. So how it felt like was a piece of like towel or cheesecloth or gauze was inside, and it felt like it was in between the muscle and the implant, and then they pulled it out. That's literally what it felt like. That's probably literally what it was. And there was a mirror, and I looked back. I couldn't see the hole of where the drain was, but she put some gauze and pressed it against it, which hurt. But then she put some tape around it, and I felt better, just immediate relief. But when removing the drain was really uncomfortable. It feels like they're ripping something from under you, like literally. So it feels like they're ripping a towel from your muscle. So your muscle feels like you pulled the muscle, or like you were literally kicked in the butt. So I am still sore. Yesterday I was sore and walking slowly, but today I'm really feeling it. And it's just in the crescent of the bottom of where the implant was. So that's the only area with pain. Like touching on the top of the implant doesn't hurt, but touching the bottom area hurts. Be gentle. The left side, she took out the drain, but she took like 5 minutes to remove the scab because it was fresh, and it hurt so bad, and I had to do Lamaze and just breathe. And for those of you who have given birth, I got my period also, which is a good thing, which means I'm getting enough nutrients. So for those of you who have given birth, I gave birth vaginally, so I pushed a baby out without a cesarean. It feels like after you give birth, when you stand, and like that uteral area is like hurting, like it's squeezing or something. It hurts. I had another surgery for something, not for my boobs, but I didn't get my period at all. So this is a good sign. It means I'm healthy, it means I'm getting enough nutrients, and that I'm taking care of myself. I'm eating enough, but now I'm just too tired to stand for longer than like 5 minutes because it starts to hurt. Not just my butt, but like that uterus area. So just keep that in mind if you have your period coming up, because I think your body is just under a lot of stress. When I was underneath the blanket, my husband would lift the blanket and it felt like someone opened the door to a blizzard. I was freezing and I felt so shaky and chilled. At the same time, I felt really, really hot. I could feel like my legs, especially, I guess it was very inflamed. I was 102 and I was 101 for the next couple days. It was 3 days of being intensely hot, and my husband said to keep the temperature in the house warm because your body is working so hard to fight off this infection. It's using a lot of energy. If you're cooling your body down constantly, it has to reinvigorate that energy. And I was eating like 5 meals in a couple hours. It was metabolizing so much. I was drinking so much water because I was just sweating out in bed, and I wanted to make sure that when I went to bed, I would sweat the heck out of my sheets. I wanted to make sure that I healed. There was like a full day where I basically slept the whole day. My husband said to get tons of sleep. He's a medical professional, by the way. He's not just some guy giving random advice, but he just gets sleep because you don't want your brain focusing on other voluntary actions. You just want it to focus 100% on fighting the infection. I felt just really sweaty basically for 7 days. On day 5, I was feeling like 80%. I basically didn't really get out of bed unless I needed to stand, and there were points where when I tried to stand, I was dizzy and shaky. On day 7, I was like 90% healed. I could still feel like something was still off. Just took it easy, and then all I was thinking was, I gotta get through this, I just gotta eat, I gotta rest. Week 5 was better, but I felt like this crazy pain. This is the worst. Week 4 was basically just me having an infection. 5, I couldn't stand. And I was wondering, why couldn't I stand? Not I couldn't stand, it's just I couldn't put pressure on my left leg. If I bent my knee, it hurt. If I stood on it, it hurt. I was basically bedridden, and this meant when I stood, I wanted to scream, which is not good. So there was a ton of pressure because it was just building up. What was happening, I went to see Dr. Hughes yesterday. I wanted to make sure I had all this information before creating this video. My body, like since getting the drains out, I had liquid still in my body, only on the left side. 50% of the surgery is the doctor doing the surgery, and then the other half is me actually healing and metabolizing everything. This is why aftercare is so important. I cannot express that enough because I have had a surgery before where I didn't pay attention to the aftercare, and my scars were horrible. I didn't heal properly. It's just something you have to live with. I had this screaming pain, so the pain would hurt sometimes after I rest, and then the pain would come back. And so he said what is going on is there's still some fluid. My body is metabolizing the fluid, which is why sometimes I'll feel better. Other times there's only like a little bit of fluid left. I'm really small. There's only a little bit of space for the fluid to go. So I'm feeling all the pressure to the point that where I was standing, my knee was automatically bending. Back to week 4, that day where I was fully healed from the infection, I lied down and my wounds were still open because they're still healing. And I could officially shower. I made sure that I covered my wounds carefully with zinc tape. I lied down. All of a sudden, I felt like all the pressure go away. I was wondering what happened, and I saw this huge stain. I'm gonna post a picture of it because it's just liquid. So it's just liquid on the bed, and I thought I peed the bed. And it was just the fluid. So it was a ton of fluid that was just jacked up in there. And all throughout the week, while the wound was open, just like tiny bits of fluid would come out. It wasn't this huge amount. It was literally just like a couple drops. Okay, I'm okay. So it's just the fluid. It was pressure, and I could walk again normally. And I had friends come from out of town, and then we all went to a conference out of town. Bending over is a little bit easier. The scars are barely visible, and at the conference, the only time that I would feel pain was when I would sit. I'm not talking about like 5 minutes of sitting. If I would sit for 2 hours straight, it would equal a day and a half of recovery in my bed. And something that's actually helping me is wearing the compression garment and walking around. So every hour I'll walk around for 10 minutes in the house. I have a walking stick also, by the way. It's a pimp cane and it's a gentleman's walking stick. I toughed it out and I'm walking normally, but I'm still limping. So I'm not trying to like run anywhere, and even walking a normal speed is uncomfortable if I'm in that state where it really hurts, because sometimes the pressure is overwhelming. And this is a lot to expect from butt implants, and I don't think everybody's gonna heal this way. I think this is just a individual case study that happened to me, and I hope this doesn't happen to you, but I'm okay. So I'm healthy. I know what to expect. I expected the worst case scenarios, and I'm prepared for it mentally. So no matter what happens, I'll be okay. I can't sit too long because it becomes uncomfortable, and I usually lean on my right side. I was getting dinner and drinks with a bunch of colleagues and friends, and I was leaning to the right. It's just more comfortable, and I'll post the post-op things here. It should be something of this sense. This should be a framework, not necessarily specified. So my right side is fully completely healed. I can poke my butt and it doesn't hurt. The left side, I can poke it and it's like a little sore. It feels like a bruise a little bit. I just need to tough it out. I look amazing in anything I try on. I know that's such a weird thing to say, but I've never felt this good about myself trying on clothes, where I think, wow, everything I try on looks good. Bikinis, dresses. I've never been so excited to dress more modestly in my life. I know that's odd to say, but like getting older, I'm gonna be 30. Oh, well, I'm 26, but I'm gonna be 30, and I feel like I have to dress a bit more modestly now that my friends are having kids, and have to like set an example. I'm still working on sitting straight, because sitting straight is really difficult. This is like a director's chair. It's textile, so it has a little bit of give and it can move around with you. But on like a wooden chair with a cushion on it, I can't sit straight because it hurts way too much. I'm not talking about like military straight where you're like this. I'm talking about like yoga straight where you're just comfortable straight. So that's the update for 3 weeks to 6 weeks. So it's currently 6 weeks. Just know that your relationships are going to help you with your surgery, so stay away from stress, stay away from, even if someone like raises their voice to you or like changes their tone of voice when speaking to you in a negative manner. You don't want that when you're having surgery. You just want to relax. You want to feel like you're at a spa for like a whole month at least. I am making sure nobody gives me a chance to stress me out. I planned ahead. I cut my hours shorter. I'm only working like 5-hour days now. Ibuprofen. So when I need to sit, if I need to go somewhere, I will take two times a day with a meal. This is just over-the-counter CVS. It helped me drastically last night at the jazz show, where I was sitting for a while. It was still a little uncomfortable because I don't want to push myself, but I don't take any I don't take any painkillers because I want to feel where the pain is coming from, so that I know not to stress that area, and I also know not to push it there, and for future reference, in case I need to fix that area, I know exactly where it is, I know what's going on. I have a low pain tolerance, but I want to understand my body. I want to be in touch with my body. And that is my full update for 3 to 6 weeks, 1 month post-op. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. I will respond to them as quickly as possible. Click the link here or below. I will post my breast implant update. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe, and you can watch my full surgery journey here somewhere up here, and it'll be linked below. I'll see you later.